Hello and welcome to Crafting with Marilyn. I'm Marilyn Weiss and today I wanted to bring you a video of how I made the Peekaboo Daisy card. But before we get started, I have a little story to tell. And that is the first part of this video has disappeared on me and I have no idea where it went or how I got it to disappear. So I apologize for that. I'm going to walk you through the first few steps I did at the beginning and then we'll take it from there. We'll add the part of the video that I still have that demonstrates a little bit more of the stamping and things. So let's get started. First of all, I wanted to say that I will be posting all of these dimensions and everything that I used on the with the card below on the video, and if you're watching in the comments, and it'll be the same on YouTube as well. But to begin with, I have one piece of Misty Moonlight cardstock that I cut 4 1/4 by 11 and scored at 5 1/2. I have a scrap of Misty Moonlight cardstock that was 2 by 3. I have a 6 by 6 Designer Series paper, and let me just show you that the Designer Series paper I used is from the Flowers for Every Season, and that's just what it says. It's got flowers and designs that are good for spring, summer, winter, and fall, specifically Christmas. And for those of you that aren't familiar, Designer Series paper is always two-sided, or almost always, so you're really able to get a lot of different looks from one pack of Designer Series paper. So I had one sheet of the 6 by 6. This is in the new color, by the way, the Bumblebee. This whole pack is featuring all of the new colors for the 2022 In Colors season. Then I used scraps of Whisper White. We had a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, a 1 1/2 by 2 1/2, and a 2 1/2 by 5. I also used the Ornate Labels dies, and that would be these right here. And I also used the Layering Ovals dies, and that would be these right here. Okay. Lastly, I used the Daisy Lane, whoops, excuse me. I used the Daisy Lane Cling Set stamp, and you'll see that you can tell that you're going to get beautiful detail out of these stamps. So let's get started on the process. The first thing you want to do is cut the Designer Series paper down to 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. Then you want to place it onto the front of the card. Now I have to say that you could glue this, but I felt it was better to use the new, well, we used to call it snail, now we call it Stampin' Seal, because I really wanted to make sure it was secure. So I did put a fair amount of tape on the back of this, you know, completely covering all 4 sides, and then a nice generous piece down the middle so that it wouldn't move. The next step was to cut out these, the window. So the first part of that is to take this, and now remember, you're going to be going through 2 layers, but to take this and cut out this center piece right here. And so this is approximately 3/4 of an inch from the fold, and approximately 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, and approximately 3/4 of an inch from the left. I just eyeballed it, but that's about what it came out to be, and so you cut through it. Now when you put it through, you want to make sure that you don't do this. You want to make sure that you open your cardstock and just are cutting through the Designer Series paper and the front of the card. The next was to cut this piece out, and this was the piece that used the 2 1/2 by 5 inch strip of Whisper White cardstock. But before you did that, I used this wonderful new product by Stampin Up called Adhesive Sheets, and they're sticky on both sides. And what you do is you peel this off and you put this side right here, not the shiny side, but this side where it's tacky. You put that on the back of your cardstock. Then you just cut it out like you normally would. And then you'll find that it's just very easy to peel this off. Now, I didn't have to run this through my die cutting machine any extra times or anything else. It just cut very easily through it. You might want to just carefully check before you start pulling things apart too much that it did cut through all the way. But like I said, I didn't have any problems. The next thing I did was, because I then would have had a solid piece of white right here. So the next thing I did was I added this and cut it again. Now you certainly could have you certainly could have layered it and done it all at once. But to be honest, I was afraid that this might shift. And if it just shifted a little bit, it was, you know, it wouldn't look good. So I was very careful to cut this part out first, and then to go back and cut this part out. And this is what comes out of the middle. So you have this with the blue on the back. And I'm saving this. I think it'll be a wonderful sentiment strip, and then I can just add a white sentiment on top of it. Or perhaps another color, cinnamon, the new cinnamon cider or something like that. But in any event, that's what I did. So now we have the hole cut out, and we have this all cut out as well. So now you just take it and you very easily just peel back the sticky paper and then just stick this down. Now, one of the things I did do was I started at the top and I just unrolled the backing paper. So let me just bring this back in. I've got this, and then this is stuck. So now you have to take off this part of the paper. And I just unrolled it just a little bit, and I made sure that I was happy with how this was starting, and then I opened it up to make sure that nothing was showing here, that it wasn't off center or whatever, and that's a good way to tell on the back, especially there was enough contrast, a lot of contrast actually between the white and the blue, so it's very easy to see. And then I just kind of rolled it and pressed it and rolled it and pressed it all the way down. Actually, let's see. Yeah, no, this is the card. I've got two cards here. This was my test sample, and then this is the one I made where the video went wonky on me. Anyway, so again, it's Adhesive Sheets, and it's in the new Stampin' Up catalog. So once I had all that done, I was ready to work on the inside. And so at that point, I'm going to stop the video here, this part of the video, and we should be able to link into the next part of the video. Hopefully I haven't forgotten to tell you anything in the process, but I will have all of this information, again, in the comment section on Facebook and on the comment section on YouTube as well. So good luck with the first part of the process. If you've got any questions, don't hesitate to contact me. I do say this all at the end as well, but I'm happy to answer any questions if I wasn't clear of how I did this. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the second part of the video. Okay, before we get to the second part of the video, I just reviewed everything, and there was one thing I forgot to tell you about, so let's just go back over that really quickly. I'm sure this is not going to be any earth-shattering educational process here, but I basically took the white scrap of Whisper White cardstock, the one that measured 1.5 by 2.5, and I cut out the white piece. And then I used the Misty Moonlight piece that was cut 2 by 3, and I cut out the Scarlet piece. And then I put them together. Well, before I put them together, I stamped the word friend, and I stamped the word friend using, again, this is one of the new colors, and it's called Misty Moonlight, and so this is the ink pad that I used. And the friend also, just to review, the friend came from the Daisy Lane stamp set as well. I chose to glue this using our Tombow liquid glue. It's a glue that really grips well, but it does give you a few moments to be able to adjust things. And with this having barely any of a margin, you wanted to make sure you could center it as well as possible. So I did use a glue on that, and then I set it aside to dry. Okay, now I think we're really ready to go to the second part of the video. Thank you. Okay, that was very odd. My phone just stopped recording. I'm not sure at what point it stopped, so I'm going to repeat myself a little bit. So we put a little bit of Stampin' Seal on the back of this to adhere it to the card so that then we could close the card and mark the corners of the opening here, except along the bottom where we went all the way across. As I was saying before, the placement of the stem is what happens first, and that is critical. So we want to make sure, let me just do this. You want to make sure that you're below the line. The other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that you're going to see the daisy in the right spot. So you see where I'm just dry fitting this now, as you would say, and you see where the stem is actually going past that opening, and that's what's critical, because you have to have enough room okay? You have to have enough room for the daisy to be able to be seen in the window, all right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to get some another new color, and that is the Just Jade. It's a beautiful shade of green. I just love it. And I'm going to slip this underneath here, all right, because we're going to do a little stamping off. I found that because of the way we will be doing the daisy, we're going to be doing the daisy with the Stampin' Right markers, and I'll show you why in a few minutes. So because we're going to do that, this would be too vibrant and too dark if we didn't stamp off a little bit first. Okay, so we're going to stamp this on. And again, two things. You'll see that it doesn't take very many taps to get this pretty well inked up. I'm going to just ink up the bottom a little bit more. We're going to stamp this off, and then we're going to come down here. And again, there's no exact science to it. You just want to make sure that the stem is going past that line across and crossing the lower right-hand corner like that, and then you should be fine. Okay, I'm again going to stamp off on my stamp here, and then just quickly clean this off camera because I don't want it to stain. All right, we're done with that. We can close that now. Now I'm going to show you a technique that maybe you have not been familiar with, or maybe you're very familiar with it. I'm not sure. So in other words, we want to be able to stamp. Let me bring the card back in again. Because these are cling, you can't really see through them to line them up the way you can with the clear stamps. So I chose to use the Stampin' markers to be able to do two colors at once. So you'll see right here, we're using, again, these are all new colors. We're using the cinnamon cider color for the center of the flower, and then we're using the bumblebee, which then matches the paper on the outside of the card. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to color the center. Okay, let me move this out of the way so we don't get ink all over it. And these, you want to use the brush tip, but you don't want to use it straight on because it will ruin it. So you want to just kind of go like this, and I just kind of made little circles. Now, one of the things you have to understand with this card is it's meant to look artistic. It's not meant to look like everything is perfectly stamped, perfectly placed. It's meant to have some artistry to it. All right, so I'm kind of giving it a really good soaking here. And I just wanted to show you the other side is a point that you can actually write with. That's why they're called Stampin' Right markers. All right, now we're going to do the petals. Again, we want to go to the thick side where the brush is, and we're going to do this. We're just going to color the leaves in. Now, I'm not sure how well this is showing up on the screen, but let me pick it up a little bit so you can see it better, and you can see the color is going on to the stamp. And again, working on the side. I also roll it a little bit, so I'm not working on the same side for each petal, just again to preserve my tip and make sure that I don't ruin it. All right. Now you're probably watching me and saying, but isn't that going to dry? Well, a little bit it is, but I'm going to show you a trick or describe a trick. I won't show you what I'll be doing, but I'll describe it in a minute. Okay, and here we go with the last petal. Okay, then you want to take your stamp and you want to pretend like you're going to clean your glasses, and you kind of huff on it with your air, and the moisture from your breath will bring it back. Now you can sort of see, you can see where this line is. You want to make sure that the top petal or the highest petal does not go above that. So I'm going to bring it down, and you'll see where I'm placing it, and I'm going to stamp it. And there you go. And then when you close it, you can see that, okay? Now, what you want to do is you want to clean this, and I'll tell you why. Because we're going to stamp it a second time, but when we stamp it a second time, we don't want the brown to stamp again, okay? So now we're just going to do the petals. And we're going to offset them a little bit. And I know now I sound like a broken record, but there's no perfect way to do this. You can have them offset a little bit or a lot. Again, it's meant to have a more artistic look to it. So I'll just finish getting these petals inked up. Now, the other thing I do want to mention to you is you can do this with the Stampin' Up markers. You cannot do it with the alcohol markers, okay? This is only a technique you can do with this. All right, so now I'm going to bring it back. And I'm going to try to roughly go in between the petals and see how that comes out. Great. It actually came out better than this other card right here. So there you have it. Okay. And let's just clean that off real quick. Now, while you still got this card open and everything, you're going to take your Wink of Stella. And if you're not familiar with this, it's like a glitter brush. And I don't know what I did without it before I had it. It's a wonderful little tool. It just gives a little bit of a shine to things. You squeeze it out if you need a little bit more. But you really, once it starts flowing, you don't usually have to squeeze it too much. And I'm going to try to see if you can see. All right, so there. Now you're going to take an eraser. This is just a white art eraser, and it's meant to erase pencil marks and things like that. And it'll erase right through. You know, you can see that the ink went over the pencil in a couple of places, and that's fine. It'll still erase without marking your card, okay? And then come down here and get that erased. And I'll pick it up so you can see there's no eraser marks. I just got this at my local craft store, Hobby Lobby, any of those stores would have it. Okay, so now the inside of the card is done, and when you look at it this way, you can see this poking through here, or peeking through, right, for the peekaboo card. All right, now we're ready to go on to the finishing of things. So we're going to bring back our sentiment, and I don't know, I just put it about in the lower third of the card. We're going to use Stamping Dimensionals. And these are little foam strips, if you're not familiar with them, little foam dots. And they work wonderfully. Instead of having to cut little pieces up and everything like that, there's actually two sizes. There's this size, and then there's a mini size. And also, all of us use the edge pieces too. You can cut that up, and so there is absolutely no waste on this. All right, so we'll put this, and it just peels right off. Okay. And then, again, I'm going to pick this up for a moment off camera, and that looks pretty straight to me. Okay, so just press it down and everything. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to use some Just Jade ribbon and just make a little knot. And so before I start making my knot, put my glue on here. That's probably why it was all jammed up. I always forget to do that. Where did my little... Okay, they've gone missing too. Something else has gone missing. Wouldn't you know? Okay, well, we're going to be using these in a moment. I also wanted to show you that this brush comes off. This is an attachment to this. And this goes on. And this is wonderful because it's got a putty tip to it. Just pull that off. You can see the putty. And we will use it to take one of the gems off and to put it onto the card. It makes it really much better and much nicer to use. Excuse me, getting a little dry here. Okay, let me grab some more glue dots. And we sell rolls of glue dots. I also happen to use, these are my glue dots left over from the paper pumpkin kits. If you're not familiar with paper pumpkin kits, I will be posting a video, and I think I have some alternative cards that I've posted on my Facebook page. But in any event, we use these for everything. They're just wonderful. And then, like I said, you can also buy a roll. So to make a ribbon knot, you're just going to do a overhand bow like this or knot. You pull it. It's usually better if you pull it from the left side and hold the right side. There you go. And then we're going to take our snips and we're going to cut this off. Now, when I cut it off, I'm about judging how big I want this to be because that saves ribbon. And that way I'm not wasting things from both sides. Okay, let's put this down. I'm thinking right about here. And sometimes you get it a little bit uneven. And so, you know, you go back and you trim it a little bit more. There we go. Okay. So I take the glue dots and I put them on the back of the knot. Now, you can roll these dots if you want, depending on the size, but these happen to be smaller dots that we got in one of the paper pumpkin kits, and so they really don't need to be rolled. Now, a lot of people just put a dot there, but I like to go right into here. Let me lift that up so you can see it. And I like to put 3 on, actually, because I want to make sure that this is not going to pop off, because that would be really sad if that happened. Okay, then you just peel this off. Okay. And you place it on the card. Alrighty, there you go. Now I do want to mention, if you've been watching this video and saying like, you went too fast, I didn't get all the measurements and everything, not to worry. In the comment section below, whether you're seeing this on Facebook or on YouTube, in the comments below, I will have all of the dimensions of what, and also a list of all the products that I used. Okay, the final thing to do is to maybe just add a little tiny bit of bling. I feel like this card has a lot going for it, but we are going to just add a little bit of bling. And I just had them in my hand, and I thought I moved them over here, and then I moved them away, I guess, right? We're looking for the in color dots. Here we go. Here they are. Okay, so we've got these enamel dots that they came out with, and these are, look at the colors. These are the colors. Let me do it this way. These are all the new in colors, and they're just gorgeous. Just gorgeous. Okay, so I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool, and on this card, a flower fell here, and I thought it looked good to just randomly have the dot there in the center of the flower. On this card, I think I'm going to aim for this section right here. So let me take the Take Your Pick tool, and you just lift it up like that. It's already got adhesive on the back. So we're just going to place it right there, give it a little extra press. And there you have it, the Peekaboo Daisy card. And again, we'll open it up. So I am a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, as you can probably see. And if you don't already have a demonstrator, I would love it if you would contact me. My craftingwithmarilyn@gmail.com is my email address. If you're interested in any of the products, you can purchase them at marilynweiss.stampinup.net. I will also be posting a hostess code. If you are interested in some of the products, please use the hostess code when ordering. However, there's a big always if, right? Or but, I should say. If your order is going to be more than $150, then please contact me so that I can give you a different way to order it, because then you would earn your own hostess rewards if you place an order for more than $150. Again, if you don't already have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, please contact me. I'd love to be your demonstrator, and I'd be happy to send out a new catalog to you. If you've got any questions, please put them in the comments below. I definitely will be checking to see if there are any questions at all. Otherwise, you all have a great day and go and craft something. Thank you very much. Hi again. I bet you thought I was done, but I'm not. I realized after I ended the video that I forgot to tell you the last thing you want to do is to just pop this off. It should pop off pretty easily. And then you want to get some more Stampin' Seal on the back here. Whoops. So that it'll stick, okay, to the card better. And of course now my Stampin' Seal doesn't want to work. Okay, there we go. Okay, so you just want to put some on the back. It's not critical to do it on the whole card, just parts of the 4 sides. And of course you already have some in the middle. And then just put it back on and center it like you had before. And then you're done. Okay, thank you very much. And thank you for sticking with me. This video is probably going to end up a little bit disjointed because lo and behold, I found out that the first half of the video didn't record. So I will go back and do that. And this will be my first attempt at editing a video and joining some 2 parts or 3 parts together. So please bear with me. It will get better as we go along. But again, thank you very much for your time and your interest. And I hope you enjoy your crafting experiences. Take care. Bye-bye.